How's it going, everyone? Yeah. Today we're going to continue on with our 78 Gottlieb Sinbad. It's either 77 or 78. It's in that area. What the hell? Who cares? What's a year anyway? Okay, last episode we got our power supply finally going. After... I'm not even going to... Okay. We ended up recapping it. And when we were done recapping it, we put it in. And we had no 42 and 60. I'm thinking it's been a... God, I've been through this thing so damn much. Okay, so we pulled it back off. And I couldn't find anything wrong. Checked a few things, reflowed some headers, and put it back in, and turned it back on, and still nothing. Sitting there looking at it. Next thing I know, I see a little smoke. I thought, what the hell? So I hurried up and shut it off. And, well, what I did was I put that little, there it is, 10 UF 160 volt cap in backwards. If you look around that cap, there's plus signs all over the stinking place. And I mistook this one up top. Or no, not that one. I thought that was for the potentiometer. I mistook this one right down there, right next to the cap, as where the plus goes. Wrong. It's the one up top. There isn't one for the potentiometer. Okay, anyway. So I changed that out. Put it back in. And lo and behold, hey, we had our 42 and our 60 volts. Cool. We're all set. Jump up top here. We have a 5 volts. No, minus 12. Okay. Go through the book, look at some stuff, started running some tests, and figured I had found a bad trace. It was just a little cut. Okay, well that's no big deal. I can just, bridge that with some solder and we'll be good to go. Touched it with my soldering iron and it disintegrated, and I was left with about a 3/8 of an inch gap. So I put in a new trace, put it back in, and finally we got our minus 12. We lost our 5 volts. Oh shit, now what? Okay, worked it all over and found I had a big diode, a 3 amp diode right down there next to our cap. Peter out on us. So I put in a new 3 amp, run some tests, checked everything else was good, put it in, and we got our 5 volts back. We have our minus 12, we have our 60, we have our 42, we have our 4, and we have our 8. Everything is working. Cool. Alright, so in this episode what we're going to do is I'd like to see if that MPU is doing anything. I have everything unplugged off of our driver board so nothing kicks on, and we have a problem down there. I got power running to it right now, as you can see, but I still have 2 plugs to plug in, and that is our J7, which goes right here. That one, it's okay. Our J6 plug. Now this is the one that looks a little rough. We'll have to repin that. I mean, we can probably actually leave it off if we want to, because J6, or yeah, A1J6 is a ground, an anti-cheat switch, return, a couple strobes, a spare, and strobe 0 and a spare. So actually we could probably just leave that one off. What we want to do is see if we can get some displays going on that and see if our MPU is actually booting. And that would save us a lot of problems if we can see if it boots. Now, displays. Thank you to the Pinball Doctor. I had bought something from him on eBay, and he sent me this card in with my purchase. And on the back it says, if you need any other boards for Gottlieb, Bally, Stern, let me know. Also have some game chips. Okay. And there's his email, pinballdoctor@aol.com. So for the heck of it, I emailed him and asked him if he had any Gottlieb displays. And sure enough, he did. And we got to emailing back and forth, and I also got some Bally MPUs from him. This is a 35, which we will be needing coming up. This one, I think this one isn't, this is the one that, it's got some problems. But I have a good 35 over there, and we may need something off of that one. I told him, yeah, I'll take it. And this is what I actually asked if he had any of, were these old 17s. Because that's what Knight Rider is. But we put a brand new MPU in it. And I thought about, and there was two of them. Let's see, where, oh, there it is, like so. This one's got a little bit of acid damage, but not much. Somebody's put some machine sockets in it. Still got these crap brown, a couple crap brown sockets in it. I see they were just using those two, so I'm wondering if they have this jumpered for the newer chip to run too. But anyway, that's another time. But lo and behold, we have our little 4-digit. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 Gottlieb displays. Now he asked me if I wanted them. He gave me a price with them tested, and a price without them being tested. I told him, non-tested's fine. That way maybe we have something to do with them. Maybe we can work on them. But most of the time when these guys have this stuff around, it works anyway. It just may not have been tested, or tested for quite a while, and they just like to retest it and make sure it's okay. But most of the time when they put, guys like this, like the Pinball Doctor, when he puts stuff up, he put it up because it was working. So I just figured, yep, we'll go that route with it. And so what we need to do is we need to put those in our Sinbad and boot it up and see what happens. See if we get anything out of it. Like I said, let me turn this off. A1J7. Looks like a couple of them are kind of cruddy. And 6. We'll go ahead and plug it in. Shouldn't hurt anything if... As long as everything's not touching anything, will be okay. Yeah, I know the battery looks ugly. You know, it's one of those, but hey, there is absolutely no acid damage on this. Okay, so I'm going to have to put you down while I put some displays in, and we'll see what we get. Okay, they may look a little off. I just have like one pin holding it in. I didn't want to clamp them all the way down in and then find out I got to pull them out. So they're just in there a little bit. So let's see what happens when we turn it on. Got 1 zeros, kind of flickering. Got a 9 on our little ones. Nothing going on up top there. That one got a little brighter. That one's kind of dim. Just checking to make sure everything looks okay. Okay, we got two of them lit up, kinda. That one's kinda dim. It's acting like it's trying to do something. Can see it flickering every now and then, like it's trying to check the high score or whatever. The top two, we have nothing going on the top two. Okay, that's on that side. I do know that. I remember from the last one I fought with those 7408s and got that figured out. Every time I hit these resets on these things, they never do doodly squat. Okay, well, that's what we're working with. We may have dirty connectors on our MPU, or we could have two bad displays. The MPU could be not booting up, could be a multitude of things. So I'll shut it down and take a peek and see what the heck, see if I can see anything. I think what I will do is I'll take this bottom display and move it up top and see if it lights up top, or if we do have a total 1 and 2 are dead. The plugs. Let me see what's going on here. Okay, I moved it from the number 3 up to the number 1. You can see it does work up there, so we do have 2 bad ones that I got in. And probably what I'll do is I'll just order a couple Wolfpack kits, and we'll do 1 and 2 and the new ones, and put the bright one over here in 3, and that dim one, it may brighten up after it runs for a while, and we'll put that down to number 4 because number 4 isn't used quite as much. Yeah, you can read it. And it seems like every time I turn it on, remember when I first turned it on, it was at 9, and every time I turn it off and turn it back on, it counts up. So if we turn it off, turn it back on, so I think our MPU is trying to do something. See, 17 keeps counting up. The test switch doesn't work, doesn't do anything either. So what we're going to do, see, at least it says game over, is lit. What we're going to do is we're going to pull that MPU out and take a look at it. We'll clean the game chip, make sure it's okay and clean. I did test that battery. That battery has 4 volts in it. So we'll leave it alone for right now. But I'm going to pull it out, and I am going to change these 2 caps and see if anything changes. I'll clean up all the connectors and that, and we'll go from there. So let me get that MPU out of there, and then we'll take a look at the backside and see what it looks like and start servicing it, see if we can't get it to come back to life. The CPU here, CPU, MPU, whatever they call it, the CPU in the book. So okay, we'll call it the CPU. Like I said, there's no acid damage at all on this board, which is amazing, and this battery still has 4 volts in it, and looks like 86, 0886, because there's not 86 months or 86 weeks in a year, so I'm sure this is 8608 of 86, and it's still holding a charge. But something else is going on. On the back side we have this little wire here that it's kind of puzzling. It's coming right off of our negative side of our battery and running up to here. Why? I haven't a clue. And so I'll test that. It goes up into this little area here. So, but I'm going to remove that because I don't know if that's something that they put on while they were screwing with that new eject hole that they put on here, or what. Okay, let's see. On here we have, this is our CPU, our game chip, our PROM. This takes a B. 4 and 5, which it's U1, that's our Z23, I think is what that is. And then 4, which is here. 4 and 5 are our RAMs. 5 is, this is the one that always blows out first. This is an A1752CE, which you can use A1752EE in this one. And this is the same thing here. This is a 52 CE, and CF, 52 CF, and you can use FF up here in the 4. These are the 2 I've always had problems with, and this one I have, that one I do not, because that's the one that usually pops when you have a problem on your play field, and you get power going back through the driver board, and it runs all the way through, and it kills this RAM chip. And once that RAM chip's gone and done, you're done. Like I said, I have some of the CFs and FFs. I have a couple of those good chips. But runs through our processor first, and then the RAM is what tells everything else what to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to start. I'm going to replace these 2 caps. I'll clean our game chip, game PROM, get rid of this wire, clean all of our edge connectors, and then I will clean the contacts on our push-on terminals. I'll get those all cleaned up, and then we'll try this again. If that doesn't do anything for us, like I said, the only thing I can do is I can change for this RAM chip, but that one I can't. But I have 2 more good System 1 CPU boards. So, you know, if I can't get, I'd like to get this one running because this is a really good looking board. There's nothing on it. But I'm not going to pull a good RAM chip off of a working board to put in this one just to make this one work. If we determine that it is our U5, I will just pull down another board. We'll put our PROM in it and pop it in and start working on our driver board. We do have 2 displays that are working, so at least we can tell if something's going on. You know, if our CPU is trying to boot and do something. Dip switches usually don't have anything to do with the game at least booting. But I will check the dip switches for this one and see what's set. So let me change these 2 caps. These 2 are our power. This is where the power comes in, and this is the caps usually is what filters and keeps it steady coming in from our power supply. So we're going to start here just to make sure we're getting enough power onto our board. Our minus 12 is this one, and this is our 5 volt up top. Now I don't have axial caps, so I'll be using the regular caps, whatever the hell. I find that I never have any problems. They usually just use these axial caps just to keep everything laying flat on the board. This board sits up high enough, and I'm gonna probably be the only one ever in this cabinet, so I'm not worried about it. I'll put the other ones on it. And we'll get rid of that wire. And we'll see if we can't get a little life out of this thing. 2 caps are changed, and I'm sorry, but I misspoke. Your game PROM is the Z23, but this is your CPU. And you can see I got her all cleaned up. Wasn't really, you know, while I had it out, I went ahead and cleaned this one. We're not worrying about anything on the play field or the driver board right at the moment. We just want to make sure our power cable terminals are really clean. I clean them anyway because if it boots up, then we don't have to pull it back out and clean them. And these are all the informations that are going out to our displays. So we want to make sure those are clean too. Took that wire off. Don't need it. And just to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and put a new power cable on it just to make sure that we are getting enough juice into it and we're not losing too much through an old cable. I had bought it because I didn't know we had this. This was tucked down. This was buried down inside the box, so I didn't know we had it, so I had ordered a new one. Cleaned our 2 push-ons here for our displays, and what I clean those with is just a regular old fingernail file, and you can see what I was pulling off of those. And when it gets dirty, you just cut it off and go again. You have both sides to work with. Fits right in here perfect in those. And you can file them out and get them cleaned up really good. There's every now and then you'll get a short one. So you can see I cut a notch out of it so I can get in the little narrow ones. Not on there. There it is right there, the second one. So I can clean those too. The terminals on the bottom on this, the contacts on the bottom on this board, it was gooey, and like somebody greased it and then put it on whole. You know, if you grease it, it won't corrode or tarnish. Nasty. But let me tell you, it was gummy, gunky. And then if we can get this up and running, boy, those nasty looking in there too. This one we will, A1J6, we will repin, or whatever you want to call them, reterminals. So now we can get our MPU put back in and get things hooked up and see if we get any life out of it now, or if we're gonna have to dig into it a little bit more and see if we can't figure out something else that is bad. Power hooked up. Displays. Information. There we go. All done. Okay. And now we're ready to turn it back on. And not holding out much hope because I know it's not going to be that easy of a fix. Let me get this back where it belongs. Yeah, see? Still the same thing. And on these System 1s, when you turn them on, there should be a delay of 5 seconds while the MPU boots. Well, we're not even getting that. And I don't know if you can see, and I can see it on the camera. You see how it's kind of fluttering from the left side to the right side? A lot of times that's telling you that the slam switch, there's something wrong with the slam switch, that it's open, they should be closed. So we got some work to do, and what I will do is I will pull that MPU back out, or CPU, excuse me. I'll pull that CPU back out, and I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do to it. Okay, we're gonna do a couple mods to this board. For starters, we're gonna eliminate the slam switches on it. We're gonna do that mod so we don't have to worry about slam switches, because to me that's what it's acting like it's doing, is it's not bypassing or going through the slam switch. Like, we have a problem with those and we really don't need them. So we're going to eliminate the slam switches. We'll do that mod. Then I'm going to put an active LED on this board so we know if it, for sure, if it's booting. Since Gottlieb didn't put any LEDs or anything on here, we're going to do a mod where we'll put an LED on here, and it'll indicate if the board is booting. And we will do the ground mod as well, just to make sure we have a real good ground. I set the dip switches by the manual, so at least they're all stock, and then we can mess with them later. If it's still not booting after we do the slam switch mod, and I'll put the LED on it so we know for sure. What we're going to end up doing is I'll end up setting up my test transformer, my test power supply, so we can actually power this on the bench and get into it a little further with some testing. There's some other things that we can test so we can make sure our spiders are working. But it's acting like the slam switches are not working, or we have a problem with them in the wiring or something. What we're going to do is this little capacitor right down there, that is C2. What we're going to do, yeah, that one right there. What we're going to do is we're going to put a jumper on it and eliminate that. We're just going to put a little jumper in here, and that way it bypasses the cap. And then we'll be putting the LED will be going, let me get rid of that, up here in the corner on the Z16 chip. That's where we will put our active LED, and our ground mod comes off the bottom leg of the top cap, and that'll be our ground mod. Well, that way we can ground it to the chassis and make sure we have a really good ground for this board. So I'll get you set up and we'll do some modding on this thing. Okay, you can see I got my little jumper in there. I just used the end of a cap leg that I cut off. I keep a pile of them around in case I need to use one for to repair a trace or whatever. They come in handy if you always keep those little ends. Okay, so we got this mod done. I was moving the board all over the stinking place trying to get at that and get that down in there, so it was kind of hard for me to actually have the camera on. You wouldn't have seen anything anyway, probably my arm most of the time, so I just went ahead and did it. And but you can see what you do is you just jump from one leg to the other on that C2 cap, and that's all there is to it. Okay, now let's get this active LED in place so we can find out if the board is booting in the game. But this will eliminate all of our slam switches. Okay, for our active LED, I have a little LED here that I'm going to mount on the board, and we're going to be working right here with this Z16 chip. And there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can mount everything on top, and you can have your LED sitting here, but you know, you have your LED and you have to have 150 ohm resistor in order for this to work for you. We're going to do a board mount. We're not going to do it on top of the chip. I'd rather do it on the board in case that chip ever goes bad, or if it is bad, we can change it out pretty easily without having to remove our LED. I got my little Dremel here. Where you at? There you are, with a 1/16 inch bit on it, and we're going to drill 2 holes up here by the chip so we can mount it. And just take a peek on the back side, make sure there's no traces that you're going to be drilling through. And let's see if you can see this. And we'll drill 2 holes. Stop shaking. Now on these LEDs, there's a flat side on your LEDs, and that's where you're going to be putting your resistor. Your resistor goes on the flat side of the LED, and then your LED is going to hook up to the ground trace here, or well, yeah, this trace right here, and then we're going to pick up pin 15 on our chip, and that'll give us our active LED. Active meaning that it's working. Okay, on these LEDs, there's, like I said, there's one flat spot on them that I know I'm not going to be able to show you. Well, maybe you can see it, finger side, not thumb side, but finger side. So we're going to put that and let's see, the flat side is where our resistor is going to go. Let's see our flat side. We'll take our resistor, we'll take our 150 ohm, and we're going to put that in there. We'll have to shorten everything up a little bit. Okay, so let me see how I want to do this. You can't see it anyway. Okay. Flat side is here, and that's where we need to mount our resistor. And then we come over and we grab this trace. This trace right here. That's the trace we need to grab for our LED. So actually we need to get this as short as possible. So I am missing my cutters. I think I got everything I need now. I'm just gonna put a little dab of flux on it. I'm gonna tint this bad boy, because once I put some solder on there, it's not gonna want to pull down through the hole. Like so. And we will do the other side as well. I'll probably go ahead and I can glue that down then if we want to. Don't have to, because once you get up that far, it's not gonna fall out on you. Okay, now let me cut this back. To there. And now I'm gonna cut him off short, saving my legs. Let's see. I'll bend that down a little bit. Don't mind me, I'm talking to myself. I hope you're not going to be in the way so I can do this so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Now I need to clean this off a nice little area. The masking. Take a little bit of that masking off right there. Cut our leg off a little. And just put a little dab of snot on it. That's a nice little spot there. Clean my tip. That didn't look like hell. Come on. Behave. Okay, that's the easy one. And the hard one is bringing this one over. Can you see? Can you see there in the chitty seats? Okay, now we have to bring this one over to pin 15. Staying away from that trace right there. So I'll get a piece of wire ready and then I'll bring you back and show you putting it on there. Okay, I tinted both sides of my little jumper wire. And we're going to this pin right there. So I am going to put just a little bit more solder on it. Pin 15, which is this one right here. A little tricky. So I'm taking my time. No hurry. Oh, shit. Come on. Let me get this end first. That. now we have our LED. So we got our slam switch mod done. Got our LED on. Now all we have to do is the ground mod. Get this ground mod done. And we can put it back in. And hook it up and see if our light comes on. Okay, same as before. I'm gonna put some solder on here beforehand. I tinted my wire. Oh, come on. And there's our ground mod. I'll put an eyelet on the other end and it'll be ready to hook up. Okay, I'll get that done and then we can put her back in and see what happens. See if I screwed it up even more. Okay, we got her all back in. Got our mods done to it. There's a couple other mods you can do to this board. You know, if you want to, you can put an LED here for your 5 volts and your LED down here for your -12. So when you do turn it on, or if it quits, you can check to see if you have your voltages here instead of testing it down here on the power supply. But I liked having that one telling me that the board is booting. Okay, and we'll turn it on, and either two things are going to happen. Well, three things. It's either going to work, not work, or smoke and blow fuse. Okay. Now, see our light is on, meaning our MPU is booting. And now let's see. Aha. Got 18 games on there. She's still kind of flickering a little bit. But we are getting a little further along here. Let's see. No, we still can't go in the test. We eliminated our slam switches. Our LED is lit, so our MPU, or CPU is booting. Can you see that yet? Okay. Now that everything looks okay, let's turn it off. Those come on right away. And yep, she clicked on. But what should happen, since it has a battery on it, is as it's booted, what it should do is go from the all zeros to high score, you know, like a normal. But we're still kind of dead in the water, but we are booting, and our test button is not working. And I think that's our J6 plug that is doing that, is what runs our test button. I'll have to check and make sure. Okay, so it's booting. Now what we have to do is test spiders. Fun, fun, fun. But it's getting kind of late, and it's time for me to go in, so I will pick you back up tomorrow and see what the hell see what else we can find out. Well, I run some more tests on this board, and I did determine that our bottom spider is blown. She's not working. But you know, we did some work to it, but we did. Yeah, hey, at least we learned. We showed you how to put a active LED on one, the ground mod, and eliminate the slam switch. So now I have this one that supposedly is good. So we will pop the chip in this one, pop our B EEPROM in, and stick this one in and see what it does. Because like I said, I was told that this was a good board. I mean, it looks good. It had some acid damage, but it has been cleaned up. Hopefully that's still okay. I mean, she hasn't started eating at it again, but it's still... tested the battery. This battery has 3.6 in it, and it's a lithium. So we'll leave it on for now. We may just leave it on there. It's a good battery. And then later on down the road, when I can test it every now and then, and if it starts going dead, I'll cut it and we can put a remote on it. I just hate getting rid of a battery that works, that there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, anyway, let me pop the chip out of the EEPROM out of our old board. We'll put it in this one and see what happens. This is just for the hell of it. Yeah, revision B and revision B. So they're the same board, just a little different color. And you can see it. Just had a little bit of work done on it here. That's the battery. Probably had a burnt trace. But overall, this is a good looking board. So let's see what this one does. And if this one doesn't work, I have one more that I know for sure works, because I fixed it back in May. I'm just gonna kind of hang that in there a little bit, because I still need to do the ground mod on this one. I guess I'll have to clip at least one of them. Now I'm going to leave this one A1J6 off. It didn't make a bit of difference on the other board whether I had it on or off. So I don't really like it, because I need to fix that. Alright, let's see. Let's see what she does. Okay, no displays. That's the way it should start. There, and they come on. And, yep, high score. We got one dead segment on our 4 here. That's on both displays that are working, so you can see this one's starting to try and work. And that one's brightening up. Now let's see if we can, let's see what happens when we hit the test button. Nothing. Okay, that could be our A1J6 or one other one. Okay, now we have a good working MPU, except for we have a bad segment. That could be a bad terminal or a bad chip. Could be one of our 7404s. Where are those 8s? Oh, it's been so long since 8s, sorry. These ones, that one, somebody's already changed that one. But these 4 are what run our segments. And that's what I had run into on Dragon. And same thing, I had to change 2 of those to get all of our segments going on Dragon. So I said I have another board here. This is the one I fixed back in May. I had to I couldn't find the original push arms for this, so I ended up buying them, and I had to cut them a little bit on the sides here to get my new terminals to fit on in Dragon. You can see I still have the EEPROM in for a Dragon because I had an extra one. You can go back and check that. Check that series out, the Dragon. We worked over a MPU and got one working, and then afterwards I worked on this one and got this one working, so I had a spare. And then the one I just put in here I bought off of a guy just to have another one because I kind of like these System 1s. And this is really a shame because this is a good board, good looking board, and you know, I hate to take a spider off of another good board to put it on there just because it's a good looking board. Once we got that on, we still don't know if everything else was going to be working. So that's what happens when you start modding and doing stuff. You know, that's why I cut all that stuff out of there. They put in an eject hole, and where that should be a stand-up target, like what's up there. And when you start doing crap like that, then you start sending feedback through and start blowing chips. This one never had any acid damage, but you know, you blow the chips screwing around. And when we do the driver board, I'm going to put I'll put the diodes in our connector cable here. Instead of putting them on the board, I'll put them in the cable in case we, you know, you ever need to change that driver board out and you have a first gen driver board without the diodes in it. It's already in the cable and be done. And you don't have to redo another one. It's just kind of a preventive. We still don't know if that driver board's any good either because of You know, I do know that one transistor has been changed. But that's for the next episode. We will tear into the driver board. We'll do the mod on the driver board as far as the ground mod on it, and we will put diodes in our connector wire that connects our MPU or CPU, excuse me, CPU down to our driver board. And I will repin this nasty thing so we can get it hooked up and put on there too. I'll look and see what this one is. I think that one is strobe and a couple returns on it, but we'll get it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, even though we couldn't get our original CPU going. But we did learn, you know. I showed you how to put the ground mod on. I showed you how to do the slam switch elimination, and we put an active LED. I'll keep this board around. I'm going to try not to rob anything off of it. That way, if I do get one in that's kind of ate up with alkaline, I can swipe the chips out of it and replace that one, and I can get this one going and have another first gen System 1 board going, because now I'm only down to one, which it's kind of nice to have two. Alright, hope to see you on the next episode. Until next time, see ya.